The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X-Bacon Gamin'.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. How are you?
I'm great, man. It has been a whirlwind of news this week in the gaming community. And in addition to chatting with a bunch of our friends, including Ains and Joe and Kyle and everybody, excited to chat about some game stuff. Thanks for having me, bud.
And joining us, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, or the assistant to the co-host, Bubble Boy and Seven. How are you?
Good. Had a couple of snow days this week, which was pretty fantastic. Is it?
Yeah, you are way loud. Just tone it down a little bit. Thank you, Bubble Boy. As always, he's
wait,
in from his airplane.
I gotta say, as this airs, the Chiefs will be about to win another one. This is my McCole Hardman hoodie that I got on, so they'll win their first round of the playoff game. How'd the Broncos do this year? I actually don't even know who that player is. Joining us, as always, is the intern to the assistant to the co-host, X-Bacon Gamin'. How are you?
Gentlemen, my love for Asus is over. I had a motherboard crap on my brand new build. Had to return it. And now I'm all MSI top to bottom in this piece.
Wow. So that's what was causing the other day when when Warzone was crashing on us. Is that what was the beginning of it?
I was crashing all the way back to the splash screen, almost into the BIOS. And I'm just and Asus is like, swap this out, have this on hand. And I'm like, yeah, it's like another $1,000. I'm good. I'll just go take it back.
All right. There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Bacon will not be getting, is it Asus or Asus? I don't even know. He will not be getting that controller anymore. Nope. Moving on to MSI Gaming. Let's go. Yep. Guys, let's jump into some TNC shoutouts, Jose.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Huge TNC shoutouts to our new subs on YouTube. We have ForeignUser, Golf Wolf 2244, and Tolu Akinbuler. Also, a huge TNC shout out to ForeignUser for writing a few comments on our last episode. The first comment was liked and subbed. Have no idea how I got here. And then the next one was Monster Hunter on Cloud sounds terrible. And then on our re-upload, he said, is this a re-upload? I think the last one was really quiet or something. Bacon, I think I saw you respond to ForeignUser on that first upload that we did. And yes, ForeignUser, we did have to re-upload. We had to make an edit, and from now on, Bubble Boy will explain what happened there, and he will do remaining edits from now on. So, Bacon, do you know this person? I'm assuming this person knows you in real life, that you paid to be a fan, or is this a real new fan we have here?
That is a real new fan. I have no idea who that is, but I always try to engage in the comments when we have one. So I'm not sure it's going to be great on Cloud but hey, let's see. We'll probably start it right now.
Yeah. Is it on?
It's worth a shot to try.
Yeah.
So shout out ForeignUser. Thank you so much for writing and following and subbing, and keep it up. We'll make sure and respond to all of your questions from now on. You can always reach us directly. Jose, where can people write in if they want to ask a question to the show?
You can always write into the Nerd Chat Podcast at gmail.com, or you can slide in directly to those DMs. All 4 of them are open for us.
Just wide open for everyone to slide on in. And then another huge TNC shout out to Watch Dogs for chilling with me on my Terminator stream last night, and Bacon was there too. Very nice guy. We were talking about Terminator stuff. I tried to recommend him to play Fallout 4 because I'm getting a lot of Fallout 4 vibes from the Terminator game, and so huge shout out Watch Dogs. Really had fun talking to him last night. We also had a bot stop in. I think it was like Puffly Twinkly or something was the name. We were like, hi. She said hi, and we said hi back. And then it was offline immediately. Had to have been a bot. But regardless, we had some
maybe it was Legion.
Three viewers last night. So huge TNC shout out. Watch Dogs, really appreciated that. Shout out to Bacon for reminding me to plug the show in there as well, because I totally was talking to him and didn't mention it. And then the last shout out. We got called out, and I forgot to mention this last week, by the old Porsche Power, aka Ainsley Bowden. He said to us during their last episode, not this last one, but the week before on the Bitcast, called us out, and he said he didn't believe, or he kind of made a bet with us that Starfield, specifically me, I believe that I said Starfield was going to have more players than Diablo 4. And so we put out a poll on our Twitter, and guys, the results are in. Which game will have more players on PC and Xbox, Starfield or Diablo 4, as Jez Corden likes to say it? And here were the results. We had 64 total votes. We're getting a high volume of participation at a very large sample size here, with 53.1% of the vote. Starfield won the poll. It's a toss-up, boys. I don't know how we're going to measure this, but people are high on Starfield. So any reactions to the poll? I know all of you voted for Diablo, so you're all fired.
Yeah, man.
And I win.
Straight up, dude.
Despite you voting against our initial conversation, Starfield pulled away. So Ains, the ball's in your court. When we find out that Starfield has more votes or has more players than Diablo in June or whenever they are released, you owe us big time. Go ahead, Jose.
I was going to say, man, it's not that I don't think Starfield is going to be amazing. I do. I think I will play Starfield first, probably, assuming they come out even around the same time. It's that you added PC in there, right? That was the part that I was just like, if we're talking about like the PC community, Diablo has been a staple of that for literally older than most of us in this room, right? So like that's just hard to beat that. And everything we've seen so far with like Lilith and everything just looks amazing. Now, granted, I'm pumped for Starfield. I know it's going to be wonderful. I'm sure everybody here is going to love it too. I'm just saying, like it's literally that verbiage that I was like, oh, clearly Diablo. But again, I hope we certainly beat Ains and all the awesome guys at Season Gaming. So I'm definitely pulling for Starfield in that regard. I'm just being honest. Bacon, What do you think, bud?
Yeah, the following on Diablo is next level. It's like, wow, it's super popular. Being a new IP, I think Starfield has a chance. I want Starfield to be better because I will like it more than I like Diablo, but I hate to say it, but I think Diablo is going to crush on Steam.
I hear
Blizzard
you, but I looked up both sales, and they're both at 30 million at the last reports. So it really is 50-50, and it's not like PC players don't play Skyrim or Fallout as well. I understand you're assuming that there's going to be more players there, but dude, this is Bethesda, Todd Howard. I think it's going to be massive, especially if it's on Game Pass, and if Diablo isn't on Game Pass, I think I don't know.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
That would be a huge win for.
Let's hope for a 50-50 split. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I want them both to do well, but which game do I think has the potential to be better? It's definitely Starfield. I mean, I know what Diablo is, and that's great, and I'm sure it's going to look great, but the potential of Starfield as an overall game, I feel like could really be awesome. So, Ains, we'll see you hopefully within the next 6 months. We'll have both of these games out, and we can hopefully be enjoying both of them. Guys, let's jump into some Xbox news for the week of January.
Are you waiting?
Yes, I'm literally stalling for you
News
to.
Team
I just did it again.
We're not hearing it. News team assemble. Okay, Bubble Boy, we're not hearing it. So yeah, I was waiting for you.
Every time my computer doesn't update, I have to like reinstall everything, Jose, from the microphone and the soundboard.
That Mac life
and
better.
Sounds like a Mac problem.
I wish he would have got that gaming PC. It'd be good right about now.
Everyone's a
Let's
hater.
move into Xbox news for the week. News story number 1, and this rocked everybody's world just yesterday. Xbox studios behind Starfield, Halo, and Gears of War have also been hit by layoffs. And this is coming from Zachary Body, Windows Central, January 18th, 2023. Changing economic climates and an impending recession have led to thousands of jobs being lost across a multitude of tech and media companies. Earlier on Wednesday, Microsoft confirmed that its intention to lay off 10,000 employees across the company starting today and through June 30th, 2023. While only representing 5% of Microsoft's massive global workforce, 10,000 employees across a number of division teams are sadly losing their positions, including a number of employees at Bethesda Game Studios, the Coalition, and 343i. Of the 3 studios, however, it seems that 343 Industries may have been affected the most. The developer has been reportedly been afflicted with long-running hiring freeze during an exodus of contractors who helped work on Halo Infinite. Now, it seems that the studios has been hit hard by these layoffs, according to Jason Schreier reporting for Bloomberg. Despite a strong foundation, Halo Infinite is considered to have been mismanaged at launch with a paltry amount of content and a failure by 343i to address the community's concerns. While the game is in a far better state than it was at release, it's clear that Halo Infinite's reputation among gamers has yet to fully recover, possibly contributing to the announced layoffs at the studio. There was an update to this story. About 60 people were cut from 343. And tying into these reports, we have reactions from former 343 devs. Ex-Halo Infinite developers criticize incompetent leadership at Microsoft following a wave of layoffs. And this comes from Ed Nightingale, and I believe this is also on Eurogamer. Patrick Wren, former senior multiplayer designer on Halo Infinite, who, by the way, I follow on Twitter. I was following him when he was still at 343, and now working at Respawn on Jedi Survivor, was one of the former employees who criticized the incompetent leadership up top. The layoffs at this is his quote on Twitter. The layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state, he said on Twitter. The reason for both of these things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. The people I worked with every day were passionate about Halo and wanted to make something great for the fans. They helped push for a better Halo and got laid off for it. Devs still there are working hard on that dream. Look at Forge. Be kind to them during this awful time. And he added in another tweet following up after that one exploded and had almost like 1 million views. I do want to make sure that I call out how amazing the multiplayer leadership on the team was during development. And then Tyler Owens, another former 343 employee at Respawn working on Apex Legends, tweeted, "As a Halo fan, I'm really tired of Microsoft business practices and policies slowly killing the thing I love. Between the contracting policies they abuse for tax incentives and the layoffs in the face of gigantic profits and executive bonuses, they set Halo up for failure." Before we start discussing this, you guys, this is sad news, and we wish all of those affected by these layoffs the best and hope they land on their feet soon. Jose, you are our economic professor. What is your initial reaction to all of these layoffs? And there are more today, I think, at GameSpot and other places, other websites, other tech industries being hit hard. Jose, give us your thoughts.
I mean, this is a very big question. And like Dan said, we're very sorry for all the families because it's just, there are always people that are hard at work in every industry. And so when you see layoffs, it's hard, right? And it is unfortunately, I think, a bigger part of the lives of kind of the private sector than most of us are used to, right? In our education, like we're used to a lot of turnover, but that's different than a layoff. And so I don't want to say that I'm an expert on this because I'm certainly not, but my general thoughts are that we're basically facing what is probably going to be like a recession because of how high like everything has gotten in terms of like inflation and that kind of stuff. Like the way you combat that is basically with kind of a forced recession. That's an oversimplification. But it's not totally surprising to me that we're going to see lots of companies, including Microsoft, right, do this kind of thing. Now, again, it sucks. It doesn't mean it's right to do, but it is a common thing that happens when you talk about like business cycles. The other thing I would just say that's unfortunate here, and it is frustrating, and I honestly didn't even know about it till we talked to Ains when you had him on the show, was that like a lot of this may stem from that policy, right? Like, I don't know the full intricacies where he was explaining to us, sorry for the listeners that didn't hear that episode, that Microsoft has a standing company-wide policy that if you are, for better lack of a word, like a temp in programming, like if they hire you on a short-term or temporary contract, you are not allowed to work more than 1 calendar year for the company. It doesn't matter if you're the best programmer they've ever seen. It doesn't matter if your ideas were legendary. Like after 365 days, you are automatically terminated. Now, that's all he said when he was on our show, so I didn't think much about it other than that seemed dumb. But that makes sense that it falls into some like business practices, and it has to do with like taxes and stuff like that, because that's how they're manipulating money, right? And that's unfortunate, right? That is in the gaming world, that's not what you want, right? You want people that are talented. You want them rewarded for their hard work. You want to see them grow. You want to see them flourish. So definitely a bummer, man. And I guess I'll end it with, I hope this is leading them to maybe reconsider some stuff. You know, for as much as we've heard over the years, Microsoft, including its true CEO, the CEO of all of its head companies, we'll talk about like for sure Phil, right, seem to be into gaming. They seem to be fully behind it. They see the future in it. They see the money in it. So to have them, it's not that they shouldn't have felt the cuts. If they're going to cut everywhere, I guess I like that it's equitable. But at the same time, it seems bizarre because it seems very counterintuitive to the message that we've heard, that they're all in on this, right? So that's very frustrating and disheartening for me. I definitely am bummed about Halo. Like this, I don't think it's the end of Halo. Like I'm not that pessimistic, but it is a huge question mark about what's going to come in the future.
And speaking of that, we didn't even mention that Joseph Staten is leaving 343, but he's still staying with Xbox Publishing. And I've seen a lot of, I think Ains tweeted about this too, and reminding everyone, a lot of people were saying, hey, this is what he does. He actually comes in, helps teams finish, rebuild. And that's exactly what he did for Halo Infinite, push him towards the end. And I'm sure Microsoft is going to keep him to do that in other games and other areas. So it sounds like Joseph's a finisher. Whether or not he wanted to stay and lead Halo, the franchise, we don't know. I mean, I'd like to think so, since he was one of the original guys for Halo, but we don't know that for sure. I just want to add too, like, I don't want to sound mean right now, but like layoffs are a part of business, right, Jose? Like they happen. And to be fair, I don't want to sound mean, but like the state of Halo Infinite was not good after the first few months. Like it was great at launch. They did a great job with the campaign and multiplayer, but clearly they have sucked with the live service. Clearly they should have delayed it. Clearly there's been mismanagement and horrible leadership that has led, no, let's say it, Bonnie Ross was fired, and rightfully so at this point, for not doing a good job. I'm hoping, you know what, I'll get to you, Jose. I don't want to sound bad, but like maybe these layoffs need to happen for these games to move forward. And they just say like, hey, if you're not pulling your weight, things are going to change. And again, like Jose said, I hope Halo is in the right direction now. They have their 3 people leading, you know, the studio entertainment. I can't remember the other one, but everyone freaking out saying Halo's dead and is over, I think that's ridiculous and just completely overreacting and is asinine to an extent. But at the same time, am I a little concerned? Yes, but we need to wait. We need to wait and see. So Jose, go ahead and we'll throw it over to Bacon.
Yeah, just real quick, for the record, I don't think Bonnie Ross needed to go. What I think that I'm going to say though is
like,
that,
hang on. Like there's a lot of proof right now showing that things were not good.
Except that we've already talked about when she left, they filled her job with 3 people. And so what that says to me is the management above her, because yes, she was high up, but she wasn't the top of Microsoft, right? Did a bad job of mismanaging resources or providing enough resources, both for Bonnie and for 343, because that's a conversation we've had for a long time, right? And that is what you point to management for. Like they're the ones who make decisions about whether we should be pushing for more content, right? Because if you hear from your bosses, you need to make more content, guess what? You're making more content. Right. So I don't disagree that there's mismanagement. And I don't disagree with you in that I'm glad that hopefully we're going to see some change. I think it's unfortunate that it's on the backs of some really good people. And like we heard from the tweet, that people that work really hard. Like imagine how crappy it would feel to be a dev who's put their life into this for 5 years, and all you hear
I
is people
empathize for
crapping on it.
sure.
You know what I mean? So I take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, that's enough. Bacon, what do you think, man?
Yeah, closing thoughts, Bacon. Like, is this a big deal, little deal, no deal overall? Like, a part of me, yeah, it sucks, but like, a part of me, like, we're in a recession. There are jobs that possibly need to be cut, and maybe again, bad management is a part of that. What do you think, Bacon?
Well, I heard today that the number that's going to be out of 343 is about 140. I don't know what the size of 343 is, but most of those cuts are coming from the campaign team, the single player team. So does that mean no more DLC? But it is a bad look when we're dropping 10,000 employees and then adding 10,000 more with Activision.
They have about 450, is that what you just said? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, 450
people at 343.
Right.
So you figure it's a quarter. That's a lot.
Right. And so we're dropping 10,000, 5%. But I saw a graph today that shows Microsoft's upward trajectory of people they've employed in the last 10, 15 years. They go up every single year, and they employ a huge number of people.
Yeah.
And, we're going to cut some guys in marketing and publishing. And I bet that's where the Bethesda cuts are, probably on that end, because do we need, multiple publishing arms in Microsoft?
Yeah.
So I know HoloLens and a bunch of other departments are all being cut. It is what it is. I do feel really bad for them. I've never personally been laid off. I've been fired, but I've never been laid off. So it's just the weird thing of doing this right before adding Activision, if Activision goes through, and that's 10,000 employees in Activision. There's another publishing arm.
Yeah, there'll be cuts there too.
So, there'll be some more issues there. I know Coalition, how many they're losing out of the Coalition. It
sucks.
It's a bad look.
Yeah.
But Amazon's dropping 18,000 people as we speak. So it's clearly an industry-wide tech issue that is correcting itself from the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah. And I remember listening to Colin earlier. He said like the one way to fight a recession is like you have to raise unemployment, Jose, right? And so this is like our unemployment is so low still that's a contributing factor. I'm not a big econ guy. Go ahead, Jose.
I mean, to clarify, it's not that you raise unemployment. Because that's very
it is.
It's that you need to slow the economy, and really what we're talking about on the greater scheme is we're talking about the flow of money. And so, again, I know this is very dark and direct. We're talking about when people don't have money because they don't have a job, there's less money flowing through the economy. So it is in essence that we want that to happen, but that sounds really jerky, right? Like that's not what we want. We don't want people to lose jobs, but we also don't want eggs that cost $8, right? So like you can't have it both ways ultimately at the end of the day. And unfortunately, this is like Bacon said, this is just a part of Dan said it's a part of doing business, unfortunately, in the private sector.
And I do want to say again, wish nothing for the best for all these people. I'm sure I've already seen a lot of people on Twitter, even Joseph today is tweeting like, I'm just focused on getting these people jobs. A lot of the gaming industry has been like, hey, we're hiring. So hopefully they all land on their feet. But I can empathize. I was on a 1-year teacher contract for about 5 years every year. And I knew how it was to like, oh, Jose knows how that is.
He was at my school.
And I was like, working with Jose. So I can empathize losing my job after a year. Okay, guys. So don't say I'm a meanie. I know what it's like.
He did not get paid nearly as much as these guys. I assure you.
Very true. And no severance package either. So in all seriousness, good luck to all of these people. I'm still hopeful in Halo. Go ahead, Bubble Boy. Last thought. Okay. Thank you. News topic number 2. Let's jump into some more positive. Well, is this positive? I don't know. We're not talking about layoffs anymore. Starfield is beginning to appear on Xbox Series X boxes. And I got to give a shout out. We're taking this from lordsofgaming.net. Shout out to Lord Cognito and all the Iron Lords. This is on January 17th. Nicholas Downey. This is from their website. A new post from a Reddit user, Fungalem7789, shows an Xbox Series X console box, the actual outside box carrying the Xbox Series X box, featuring the Starfield artwork across the back. This is the first piece of official promotional material that we have seen out in public hands. This means that it is likely that Xbox and Bethesda will be kicking off their marketing for the game into full gear in the coming months. This makes sense as it was recently confirmed by the official Starfield website. that the massive RPG will be launching in the first half of 2023. This will likely be the first of many differing marketing pieces we will see from Xbox and Bethesda for the game. It will be interesting to see when we will hear about an official release date. Likely we'll get that when we have the official event from them. Yep. Bacon, go ahead.
All right, so this has to mean we're close, right? If you remember,
Jose, wait, Jose, econ guy. Come on. You've produced things and shipped them out.
You're talking about business. This is not econ. This is purely like in marketing.
Business is not a part of economics?
No, they're not. They're separate, literally separate studies.
All right. Sorry. I thought you were a business major too. Go ahead, Bacon. But how close? How close, Bacon?
I don't know. My Xbox Series X came with Halo on it, and I waited a year.
That's everyone's has. Everyone's has up until this point. Until I see this in the wild. I don't know.
Still sticking to March here, boys. March.
I think you guys are crazy. Jose, closing thoughts on this?
No, I think it's awesome, man. I think Chance is right that this is pointing to them really leading into the marketing, right? And I think it's
close.
I think it's interesting, though, to be fair, that this wasn't a bigger announcement. Now, granted, we don't know how this Reddit user got this box. We don't know if it's like inside baseball, like,
or if it's
that's
fake,
the magic of Reddit, right? It could also be photoshopped theoretically, right? I don't think it is, but it could be, right? So it's interesting that we're not hearing more about this at Microsoft, but at the same time, remember, this is all a political game. So if you're just about to announce that you're dropping 10,000 employees, you probably don't want to start the next day with, hey, but we're getting a new Xbox box. That's probably not going to look too good for optics. So who knows? Maybe around next week, the 25th, when we get to see the developer direct, maybe we're also going to see this announcement of like, hey, we got brand new labeling on our boxes, or maybe they won't announce it. Maybe it'll just happen around that time, because my guess is that at the end of the show next week, we're going to hear about the date for the show for Starfield, not the release date, but hey, and next month we're going to talk about Starfield.
Okay, here's the thing. If they do have the date for Starfield's event and it's close, then I do think the game is closer than I think. But if they don't say anything about when the date is for the event, I think it's going to be a lot further out than we think. So I'll just say this. Jose, I forgot to ask you very quickly about back to the first story of the layoffs and everything like that. Do you think this has any effect on Microsoft's plans to acquire Activision?
Like, is it a strategic play? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, like, will this have any effect? Like, hey, we have to make these cuts for economic reasons for the business, and also should we just bail on this Activision deal since we potentially can lose money by that date?
They're not going to bail. There's too much money in the potential, but you make a good point. It could be, and again, we're talking almost in like a sinister line of work. This could be like an accounting way of saying like, look, we're about to get 10,000 new employees. Maybe we need to trim the fat ahead of time. And again, that sounds real negative because we're talking about people's way they make money or living, but it's not out of like Bacon's right. There was probably a lot of talent brought on during the pandemic to fill holes where they couldn't fill. I mean, this is just a natural piece of like, they're not going to hold on to that forever. I'm sorry. Right. So I'm sure it's a little bit of all of the above.
Okay. News item number 3, and this is a straight for Bacon one right here. Xbox consoles will soon be carbon aware. Energy saving modes automatic for insiders. And this comes from Ed Nightingale, Eurogamer, back on the 11th of January. And Bacon brought this up last week, but I was like, this is kind of lame, to be honest. But here we are. We're gonna discuss it just for him.
I love it, Bacon.
A new update for Xbox consoles will make them, quote unquote, carbon aware, reducing the carbon footprint by optimizing updates and download times when the most renewable energy and the local energy grids can be used. Microsoft claims that for every 2 Xbox consoles switching from shutdown mode, it will save the carbon equivalent of 1 tree planted and grown for a decade. Sweet. Based on average of Xbox consoles on shutdown for 20 hours a day for a year, it acknowledges energy savings vary by console and other factors. Shutdown is also the most sustainable power option for the console, using up to 20 times less power than the sleep option. A further energy setting for insiders is the active hours setting, in which users using the sleep power option can adjust the console's active hours, where it will boot quickly and be available for remote waking. The feature will be available for Xbox insiders using the energy-saving shutdown power option and their console configured to support the automatic updates. Bacon, you sent this to us earlier. We didn't get to it last week. Why should I care about the environment in these new settings?
Well, do any of us leave our consoles in sleep mode or ready mode?
I think I did at first, but I think I
Do you?
switched it to the energy saving one recently. And by the way, well, you
I'd
can
like
still do that on shutdown now, Chancellor. They
Yep.
did make that change. So this isn't even a step further, right, Bacon? So this like will really
Right.
shut your console down. It will only turn it on to make check for an update at a certain time. And then when you turn it on, it has to like completely reboot. Am I getting that correct?
Yes, but I don't leave anything in rest mode or powered down mode. I shut everything down, and it started with the PS5 and all their issues with Returnal
Oh
and
yeah,
breaking
yeah.
their PS5s. I'm like, I'm
Always
not
shut down
leaving
my
that thing. Yeah,
PS5.
but I don't. The same thing on my PC. I shut everything down completely because I'm all NVMe hard drive, so I don't have to worry about spinning up the hardware. But
Bacon, really
I
quick. When I close my laptop lid, is that completely shut down or no? Or is
Oh
that
god,
a
no,
steady
that's sleep
state?
mode. That's
it
sleep
just
mode.
turns off the display. Yeah. So if you guys all take advantage of this, that allows me to run my PC longer, and our carbon footprints might offset because this thing's drawing 600 watts right now as it sits. So I need your guys' help here.
Oh, okay. So the real reason why Bacon wants us to be carbon aware is so we can make up for his awful carbon footprint. Any of you guys have any reactions? Says, do I think this is cool? Yes. And should we probably all take advantage of this? Yes. Bubble Boy, go ahead. Yeah. It, and you also just said you leave yours in only sleep mode, so you're already doing a great job. I have to say, before I throw it over to Jose, did you guys get your XL bills recently? Man, I was not prepared
Not
because
fun.
I was having my fireplace running a lot in addition to the heater. Holy cow, it was like $350. I was like, whoa, that was the most I've ever seen since I've been here. And I was like, Allie, turn off that freaking fireplace right now. We can't do that every night. Jose,
Blankets for everyone.
can I ask you, Jose, if you don't mind me sharing, what was yours just for comparison? Because you have an older house.
416.
Wow.
So here's what I'd say. Like I understand that this is when you look at the details and it says like for every one you do in 10 years it's going to plant one tree. Like I get that sounds ridiculous.
Varies by region and by all this other stuff too.
But here's what this is important, and this is like a very serious note. There have been new studies published that based on the efforts of like trying to make the environment better over the past literally 30 years, because it's become like popular and people talk about it and we teach it in school and all that stuff, that they're actually estimating at this trend that we might actually repair the ozone in the next like 50 years. Now, granted, that doesn't mean we don't have a host of other issues. We do. We have so many freaking problems. However, little things like this do matter. And at the end of the day, here's what I'm saying as the gamer, because to be fair, I'm guilty of the sleep mode thing too. I don't really care when my game downloads. Like if I hit it to download because it's like a 60 gig download and it's like, hey, it's better for it if we do this at 4 a.m. when I'm asleep as opposed to 11 when I'm going to bed. Great, man. That's probably better for everyone. And at the end of the day, it's just nice that companies that traditionally don't care about this at all, right? And I mean, there's lots of companies like this. It's nice that they're taking steps. Now, granted, it's probably for marketing. It's probably to look good. I bet you this will show up when they're in court for Activision Blizzard, right? Like all of those pieces are elements of this as well. But again, it is nice at the end of the day that it is making this better for our kids, right? That's the other piece we have to remember, right? That we're doing all of this for perpetuity. So I think it's nice. I'm glad that Bacon brought it up.
All right, really for our kids, because we're all gonna be long gone.
Yeah, that's right. For 10 years.
But
So
anyway,
several generations out.
Thank you, Bacon, for bringing that up. Everybody switch your Xbox There really is no reason you shouldn't change the settings unless you're like Chance, who gets on every hour. It's just gonna boot right up, even though we have fast SSDs now. News item number 4, and this is also a Bacon story. Well, I actually thought this was cool and wanted to share it. I'm sure Bacon saw it as well, and get your guys' reaction as well. Nvidia broadcast can now deep fake your eyes and to make you look like you're looking at the camera. And this is coming from Mitchell Clark over at The Verge. Nvidia's streaming software now has the option to make it appear like you're making eye contact with the camera, even if you're looking somewhere else in real life. Using AI, the eye contact feature added in Nvidia Broadcast 1.4 will replace your eyes with simulated ones that are aligned with your camera. An effect that worked really well when we tested it ourselves, except for all the times it didn't. In an announcement post, the company writes that this feature is meant for content creators seeking to record themselves while reading their notes or script without having to look directly at the camera. Nvidia suggests that eye contact will try to make your simulated eyes match the color of your real ones, and there's even a disconnect feature in case You look too far away. Shout out to Allie. She actually told me about that today. She's like, I had one of those stupid meetings where they said, can you please turn on your cameras, everybody? I do have to say, though, as funny as this is, I think it's really cool. And I watched the video of another guy doing it. I think it was Tom Warren who actually did it as well. And it's pretty scary how good and accurate it is. And I appreciate it because I have noticed, even like right now when I'm reading the notes and going through this, I'm not looking at the camera at all. And I wish I was more. And especially when I want to do reviews when we get to them. By the way, have you been working on your monthly videos? Everybody check in.
Yes, I have.
I do want, I wish this was available to me easily to use right now because it's hard for me to look at the camera and read a script. So, Bacon, how do I get this on my computer? Do I have Nvidia? I have a 1660 Ti. How do I get this software and get it to work?
Well, I got all the Nvidia broadcasts going through all my Elgato stuff, and that's how I get background removal when I want it, and noise cancellation, so you can't hear my keys and stuff. I assume it's probably going to be only for 40 series. That's how a lot of their stuff is. Just because the extra processing that's required to do stuff like that. So I would assume it's only 40 series, but it's a little spooky. But when I first started YouTube, I made my own little teleprompter on a DIY thing, put a pane of glass in there and had my iPad in there and my camera coming in through the back. I put a lot of time and effort into this thing.
Yeah,
trying to read my scripts while looking straight at the camera, which is so hard to do. I could see it, when we're streaming, your box is so small on the bottom of the screen. So how's anyone going to tell you're looking at a camera when you're streaming a video game? So maybe more in this application we're using right now, talking to a camera up close, zoomed in, that could work. But I'm assuming it's going to be 40 series only, Dan.
Jose, go ahead. This is pretty cool, right?
It's very cool. Like I saw the sample video and it's crazy how legit it looks, but I have a better solution for you, Dan. If you want this, you just got to get an Apple because they've been working on this since 2019 and it's built into FaceTime, just so you know.
How come I've never heard of this?
Because you probably never activated it in the settings and you don't like Apple. That's on you, bud, not them.
I mean, but how does that help me with recording something and making content?
It's not. I just like to make it I saw one on Twitter that I thought was really good.
Exactly. I saw one on Twitter as well that was way better. I thought that one that he did, he was like purposely trying to make it look not very good. But anyway, I think this is cool.
Hell yeah, I'm in.
All right, last story / fun news for the week. News topic number 5. Oh man, it's hard to say this with a straight face. The Joint Fire event launch coming from Alex Wakeford on Halo Waypoint. I mean, sorry to all those people who lost their jobs at 343, but you got to chug on. The Joint Fire event runs from January 17th through the 31st and brings a free 10-tier event pass featuring Halo Reach themed rewards. Joint Fire is all about the JFO class Mjolnir for your Mark V-B armor core, which many of you will no doubt remember from Halo Reach, which you'll be assembling by completing event challenges and the Joint Ops playlist. So everybody, there is another Halo event. I know Jose is going to drop in. He's always been going.
I'm already done. Already finished it.
What? I went in yesterday and what game modes were there, Jose? Was it just that the capture?
It's just the Joint Ops, which I do not like the Joint Ops.
I don't like it as much.
I really don't. It was a grind to get through it, but I did it. It only took me about an hour. It didn't take that long.
Did you like the armor stuff that you got? Just the green visor, really?
The green visor was the one I really wanted because I thought it looked up. It's like number 7, I think. There were a couple other cool like shoulder pieces. The number 10 piece or the last thing you get, I didn't think was
that little.
It's like the little camera on the top of your visor. Like, and I didn't realize it was Reach themed. I didn't put that together. So I understand that now, but it was okay. It's one of those, like, I like playing Halo. I like going back to it. And I like honing those skills. So I don't mind doing it. And again, it was relatively easy to do. I just didn't love the game mode. I wish they would sometimes offer even just 2 game modes, not all 4. Like, I don't think that's reasonable, but like 2 where you can earn the rewards. Cause just like, man, for the record, for those that don't know, the Joint Ops game is basically where it's like capture the flag, where you're playing offense and defense, and it's one flag, and the attacking team has infinite invisibility, cloaking,
swords.
No, that's the defending. Defending, you get the machine gun, and you get the sword. Attacking, you get the pistol. And The plasma gun. That's what it is. The plasma gun. And I just don't like that combo. Pulse carbine. Thank you. So it was fine, man. I finished it. Happy to finish that because I'm just trying to parlay my time until next week. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So I have to say, anyway, I like these events, Jose. I think it's a good incentive to get people back in, but I agree. I think it should be a little bit more diverse ways to play, to diverse game modes, I should say. And I also think the rewards can be a little bit better. Like, I know it's free, and maybe next year, I mean, maybe this again is feeding into that. Once they get into season 3 and we really get the cadence and content, that it will be better. But I appreciate these little things because they do pull me back in for a little bit. And I got to say, Jose, going back to it, I was terrible because I was so used to the movement and everything from Modern Warfare.
I'm getting destroyed.
Oh my gosh. So I got a hate message saying trash for my own teammate. And it's like, dude, I'm trying here, man. And I, of course, whenever somebody sends me that, I just write back reported, and then I report them to Xbox. Last fun story for the week. And I know Bacon and Bubble Boy will appreciate this. Mass Effect director publicly confirms that the opening credits of Mass Effect were indeed inspired by the opening of Top Gun. And this, of course, he tweeted this out in retweeting Snizabel, and she wrote, "Every time I watch Top Gun, I'm reminded that it's the same opening as Mass Effect, and it blows my mind." And Casey responded, "Finally, someone noticed this. I've been waiting for so long." To be fair, no offense to Snizabel, I kind of felt like we kind of knew this, right? Or saw the inspiration from it. I mean, it's almost identical, but to hear Casey say publicly, "Yes, this is, I literally ripped this off from Top Gun." Bacon, did you make that connection? I mean, you seem kind of lost in general when you're playing Mass Effect for the first time. So I'm a feeling that this flew right over your head.
Yes, I'm openly admitting I did not recognize that until I read that tweet. And I'm like, oh. But real quick on that last story, it says you get the
Bubble Boy's gone, sorry.
The Clippy tactical charm. Is that the Windows 98?
Yes,
Clippy?
I have the Clippy charm. Yes,
but that's awesome. That's not for the Join Ops event. That's for the weekly challenges. You got to finish the weekly challenges.
Yeah, but you'll be close to that anyway if you're doing the Join Ops stuff. So yeah, you got to get it, Bacon. I have Clippy on my gun, of course.
That's my jam right there, boys.
Yeah, no, I love Clippy, and I, out of respect,
he's like, I'm in
to both Mass Effect and Top Gun, here are the opening credits to Top Gun, in case for some reason you're listening and you don't remember them. On March 3rd, 1969, the United States Navy established an elite school for the top 1% of its pilots. Its purpose was to teach the lost art of aerial combat and to ensure that the handful of men who graduated were the best fighter pilots in the world. They succeeded. Today, the Navy calls it Fighter Weapons School. The Flyers call it Top Gun. And then
DMC right there.
opening scroll for Mass Effect. In the year 2148, explorers on Mars discovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring civilization. And the decades that followed, these mysterious artifacts revealed startling new technologies, enabling travel to the furthest stars. The basis for this incredible technology was a force that controlled the very fabric of space and time. They called it the greatest discovery in human history. The civilizations of the galaxy call it Mass Effect. DMC strike number 2, right, Jose? Guys, I don't know what's going on with Bubble Boy. Can we get a text out to him checking in on Bubble Boy? While we're waiting for him, let's quickly talk about what we have been playing or watching. We haven't done this in a while, so quickly, I will go first here. Jose Bacon already knows this. I completed, or you might have seen this on Twitter, I completed Dark Souls 1. Yeah, I am all aboard the Dark Souls.
Who challenged you and said that you have to play Dark Souls 2?
That was a rando. He's like, dude, I think you got to suffer through Dark Souls 2, which I hear is the worst one and had a lot of problems at first until they launched like this second like full edition of it. He said that, yeah, you got to play that next, and that Bloodborne and what was the other one? Demon Souls were also very good and not as long as the horrible Dark Souls 2. But yeah, I gotta say, I think I am gonna do Dark Souls next. I want to complete Dark Souls. Exactly. I gotta complete the trilogy, right? So, and then I started Terminator last night, Jose. I'm really liking it.
Is it pretty good?
Simple.
I was going to ask you.
For $15 that I paid, I'm having a blast. It is spooky. When I saw the freaking T800 turn around and look at me with those dang red eyes, man, it definitely has the right aesthetics and mood and setting. Gameplay's simple. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It really does feel.
What does it play?
Like,
is it FPS or what does it play?
Yeah, it's an FPS, and it feels like a dumbed down Fallout, like a miniaturized Fallout. You're looting for scraps. There's like these little safe houses you go to. You're doing like a mission, and there's like some side stuff. But I'm telling you, for $15, I'm really enjoying it, and it's the perfect palate cleanser. Because at the end of Dark Souls 1, man, I'm just exhausted. Especially the final boss, you guys. That's where the one I had the most problem with. Like throughout the game, I was like, this is a joke. At the end, this guy, he's swinging really fast, and you have to parry. And I suck at parrying, but there's no other way. So I must have done that boss probably like 10 times, and then I finally got to it. But it was draining. So this is a perfect palate cleanser. I highly recommend so far Terminator Resistance. If it's on sale for 15, snag it if you're a Terminator fan. Bacon, what about you? What have you been playing?
Well, gentlemen, I am about to ascend from Earth back to the Citadel to finish it. I had to stop right before I rolled the credits last night. I was getting too late, but that is
no spoilers. No spoilers. Remember,
how have people not?
Just don't do it. Don't do it.
To be fair,
you didn't say anything. You're good. I'm just saying, don't say anymore. He's right at the end, you guys.
All my goodbyes and emotional speeches to everyone who survived.
Yeah, because Bacon in the first probably these people are alive. Cortez, he survived for you, right? Like you see him, right? Bacon.
Dude, he went down in the shuttle, so
yeah, you
I
can talk to him still. You can go.
You?
Yeah, you can go call him.
But
at that last area.
I've been trying to get my brother and my best friend Mike to play Mass Effect, and they won't do it. Other than that, I've been playing a few nights of Warzone, my obligations with the boys. But other than that, I'm rolling the credits once this is over tonight on Mass Effect. I'll have a couple more achievements to go back in and maybe clean up to get them all done. But incredible, guys. Just game of every generation.
Yeah, exactly. Alert. Participant Bubble Boy is having a problem. Participant failed with cannot read properties undefined reading state, whatever that means. Bubble. It's okay. You're recording. I just hope it works. I see the thing. Let's just pray to God that this is working.
And one last thing. Watch Tulsa King on Paramount. If you're not watching Tulsa King, you're doing it wrong.
Who has Paramount Plus?
No.
We're not getting no. Let's move on. We got to keep the show moving. Jose, quickly, what have you been playing?
Not actually too much. I did the Halo event yesterday because we had the snow day here in Colorado, which was fantastic. Hang out with the girls in Victoria, and then had some time to game, which was great. I also have been playing some Warzone with Dan and Alan, and because I've been trying to get the streaming up and running for those that care about that. If you ever want to see me stream, I think I finally have a fix, but it will be a day or two before it's up, thanks to Bacon. So hopefully this weekend I'll finally get to start streaming some stuff on Twitch. Actually, you can find me at Chipotle Bear, and I've also been I got an awesome dub on Warzone that I have the recording of, but there's no game audio because I couldn't get the game audio working. But it was Dan and Alan and I were in the final circle. Dan died as we were going in, and then it was just Alan and I hiding behind literally like a bus. And this dude came over the left and the right, and Alan hit the guy on the right. I hit the guy on the left. Then Alan went down, and it was just me and this one other dude. He ran around the van and got him. It was amazing.
Jose came through in the clutch. He made up. For if you remember, if you've been listening, a few weeks ago, Jose failed me to a guy in the gas, but this time he came through, got us the Warzone victory. We also got like 3. And
I know we hit 3 that night, which is dope.
Yeah.
The other thing I was playing, and I'm going to make a review for it for all our listeners out there, that I adored was Tinykin. I played Tinykin. It's on Game Pass. It was a pretty straight, easy little banger. I probably played about 8 hours total. And I got almost 1,000 out of 1,000 on accident because I just liked playing it so much. I have 3 achievements left, and I am not going to get them because I know what they are, and I'm not going to go back in and do them because it's like a whole kind of mini game within the game, but cute little story, super fun gameplay. If you've ever played Pikmin on Nintendo, it's very similar in the kind of the spirituality of it, but really enjoyed it. So check out Tinykin again. I'll have a review here soon. But other than that, man, just want a quick mention. I know we're not going to talk about it a long time, but I did watch Last of Us Episode 1, and I enjoyed it. I know Dan said it's like playing the game. I never played the game. and I have no intention of playing it anytime soon because I don't have a PlayStation. So I'm enjoying the ride. Victoria liked it. My parents liked it. So we're excited to see where the season takes us for sure. That's what I've been up
we
to.
can talk more about that maybe next week or something. Welcome to the 2022 The Nerd Chat Game of the Year Awards. Gentlemen, there's a cool section in True Achievements that lists the games, and this is what I used to determine what I had played in 2022. I don't know if you have yours up, but here are the games I played: Grounded, Super Perils of Bacon, Weird West, Halo Infinite, Tunic, Trek to Yomi, The Messenger, Crossfire X, Forza Horizon 5 DLCs, Cyberpunk, new Super Lucky's Tale, Somerville, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, As Dusk Falls, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Little Nightmares 2, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Grand Theft Auto 5, Elden Ring, Scorn, Donut County, Ghoul Boy, Batman Return to Arkham Asylum, Resident Evil 5, Dark Souls 3, Resident Evil 0, Battlefield 2042, Max Payne 3, Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth, Dead Island Definitive Edition, Cuphead DLC, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Walking Dead, a Telltale series on Xbox 360, High on Life, Resident Evil 3, Dead Rising 4, Back for Blood, Battlefield 5, Friday the 13th, the game, Resident Evil 6, DuckTales Remastered, Far Cry 3, Destiny 2, Skyrim, Dark Souls, and Gears 5. What a crazy collection of games there, boys. Does anyone else have anything they want to add for the games that they played? How many is that? Chance, do you have yours up by any chance?
Yeah, I do. Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead, quickly.
The Gunk, Halo Infinite, Donut County, Paparazzi, Telling Lies, Dying Light 2, Staying Human, Rain on Your Parade, Elden Ring, Townscaper, A Memoir, Blue, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Trek to Yomi, Sniper Elite 5, Batman Arkham Knight, Project Wingman, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Chorus, Sea of Thieves, Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition, Madden NFL 22, NBA 2K22, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Cuphead DLC, Fall Guys, Grand Theft Auto 5, House Flipper, As Dusk Falls, Midnight Fight Express, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Madden 23, Immortality, Metal Hellslinger, Deathloop, Alien Isolation, My Friend Peppa Pig, A Plague Tale Requiem, Forza Horizon 5, Battlefield 2042, Signalis, Power Wash Simulator, Pentiment, Potioncraft Alchemist Simulator, Gotham Knights, and Vampire Survivors.
Bacon and Jose, instead of reading them all out.
I'm not doing that.
Wait, do you know, Chance, at the top it says I played 47 games this year in 2022. I started 32. I got 1,000, or I completed 21, 73,000 true achievements score, 31,900 gamer score, 1,1212 achievos. What about you? It's at the top of the page. Bacon, are you on True Achievements, or
which page though?
I am on Daddy Diwali periods /2022. So
where do you see periods though?
Okay, so if you look at there's name, your name, games, achievement captures, stats, and underneath the stats, periods, and it says all of 2022. So while you're looking that up, guys, it looks like we had a lot of games that we played this year, a lot of backlog games, not too many Xbox first party. Let's be real. It was a dry year for Xbox first party, but regardless, I really enjoyed 2022 for me personally. I got to catch up on, I feel like I'm caught up on my backlog, boys. Besides The Witcher 3, which I probably will never get to, I did my job. My backlog is pretty much done. I am so happy that I got to play some of these older games, and I didn't feel like I needed to rush through things, and I got to play what I wanted to play. So I think we should all celebrate the fact that we were able to do that. I also had a bunch of games on PlayStation that I played that I didn't list here, but Chance, how many games did you play this year? Did you find it?
Getting there. Hold on.
Okay, negative. So
I have mine while he's doing that.
Okay, how many games did you play this year?
Well, remember, I didn't join True Achievements until not like we were already into last year. I haven't always been a piece of it because I have not always been an achievement whore, like you guys. No offense, but this year, since I started 27 games and I played 27 games. So I didn't start any games I didn't play excessively. And my gamer score increased by almost 10,000, which I'm pretty proud of
Nice.
because I don't have a big gamer score like you guys. So it was
This-
decent, man.
This says I only played 20, but I just read way more than 20, so I don't know. Like there's 20 games listed here under games all of 2022, so not really sure.
Yeah, I think for this is for if you
Could just
earned
be the
achievements.
top 20. Yeah.
These were ones where you earned achievements, but I have to say my biggest month for Achievos, wow, November. I was putting in work, you guys, and
Me
then
too.
July, like there's a huge spike in July, huge in November. So lowest April. Must have been busy. Guys, let's jump into our first award for the Nerd Chat, and I'm going to start off with best gaming snack of 2022. Who would like to go first for their best gaming snack? Why don't we go with Bubble Boy?
Nerd clusters for the win.
And Jose, what was your best gaming snack of 2022?
Oh, hands down. That would be Sabatasso's pizza from Costco. They're these little 4-inch pizzas that I in my air fryer are little bangers, man. You can go for 8 minutes at
with the greasy fingers and
360.
hands, Jose?
No, because that's the nice. They're not greasy enough on the bottom. So if you hold them like a chip, you don't get grease all over your controller, man. I probably went through a good 10 boxes this year by myself. So check them out. They have an orange box at Costco, like $12 for a bunch of them. Sabatasso's pizza, delightful.
Bacon, carrots for you, right? What was yours?
Pistachios in the shell,
Ooh.
gentlemen. Have
In
you
the
tried
shell?
pistachios? It gives you something to do.
It's when
Are
it's
you
loading
playing
screens.
video
Is that what you're
games?
saying?
Why wouldn't you just pay the extra to get them unshelled? Because it's just
Because the work is half the fun.
Oh, I mean, I don't
said
mind
no one
pistachios.
It's a
Yeah.
healthy. Okay, hold on. Cheddar and sour cream.
Okay,
ruffles.
there we go.
Oh,
Much
is that
better.
better? All right, boys.
All right. Dilly indeed. So my number one snack from 2022, of course, is the Haribo Sour Bears. Man, I can just down those damn Sour Bears like nobody's business. So that is the first award. Congratulations to all of our nominees and winners. Next award, Best New Xbox Hardware or Peripheral of 2022. Bubble Boy and Jose, did you have one or could you think of one? So Jose, why don't you go first? Bubble Boy, should I skip you on this one?
Does my chair count?
Yes, that does. Absolutely. So show that in a second. So Jose, lead us off. What was the best gaming Xbox peripheral of 2022?
So the best one, and I don't have it, but that is the new custom Series X Elites, right? That you could do the Series 2 Elite in custom colors and finishes. We've been waiting for that for years. We already had Elite 2, so we didn't need them, but I love that they're doing that. It makes me pumped for the Elite 3. The other thing I will say, like Chance, and mine is not nearly as cool as his, but I also picked up a gaming chair that I'm sitting in that has been absolutely incredible for when we're
What'd you
recording and
get?
playing games. It's the one that was at Costco, but I got it on Marketplace for like a third of the price. Had to go pick it up from some lady in Highlands Ranch that bought it for her kid and they didn't want it. That's called Privilege. And so it's been great for me, man. It's been nice.
Bubble Boy, tell us about your best Xbox peripheral. Show everyone.
So thanks to the Dynasty Consortium, a Dynasty Fantasy Football League I'm in that I've won 5 out of the last 6 years. I took all those people's money and I bought a 2022 Titan Evo Dark Knight Edition. So from Secret Labs, you can see the logo. I don't think you can see. You can barely
make it out on
see
the
the Batman on there. Man, is it amazing! And like Bacon was saying, it's got this is the magnetic neck pillow that goes on there. This thing is as elite gets, because none of us can afford that Halo chair.
Correct. And Bacon, what was your favorite Xbox gaming peripheral or hardware of 2022?
So the Elite Core, which allows me to get cheaper Elites, but that's not the winner. The winner is the RTX 4090, which allows me to play PC Game Pass games at 140 frames, ultra settings with ray tracing.
There he is, you guys.
It wraps around to Xbox somehow.
I know. No, you are very elite over there. Here is my favorite gaming peripheral of 2022. And that is, of course, my new custom Elite, or I guess not Elite, my custom Scuff Instinct Pro controller. On the back, we've got the black with the 4 paddles. Love the placement. Got the white bumpers and triggers.
Sweet.
Got that white and gray ABXY combination that Jose said was the best part.
It looks
And I also
real
got the
clean,
white
bud.
D-pad. Love the look of this controller. Love the customization. By the way, I got to shout out, guys. If you're interested in the Scuff right now, they have a deal where you can get anything custom for $199. That would have saved me $40 if I would have just waited. It's an incredible deal. I highly recommend it. It's called Max My Scuff. We're not sponsored by Scuff, but there you go. Save yourself some money. Use the promo code. Go grab one of these bad boys. I highly recommend it. So I also will be uploading a video on that, an unboxing and a review. Guys, let's jump into our next award. The Nerdfest Award, aka the Best Multiplayer Award, goes to of 2022. And I will go first. For me, this was tough because I had a lot of them, Jose, and I couldn't narrow it down to just one. So I'm going to give it to 3 games where I feel we come together as a squad. And maybe if I had to give it to one, and this is going to shock the world right here, Battlefield 2042. You know why? Because there was nothing like getting the squad back together and playing old Rush maps from Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield 3 and 4.
He's absolutely right.
I had a blast jumping in with that, especially because even Pony was jumping in and playing with us. Great time. So I have to say that probably would be my overall winner, but honorable mention as well. I've really gotten into Warzone and had a blast playing with the boys as well. And of course, Halo. But Jose, it looked like you were agreeing with me. What was your best multiplayer Nerdfest award for 2022?
So I 100% agree with Dan that it really came down to 3 games for us. It was Halo, Battlefield, and Warzone. I wanted to pick Halo. I really did. And I even waffled a couple times today as I was like thinking about my awards at work. And I couldn't do it because for as long as it's been out and for as polished as it should be and as much content should be out, it just wasn't there this whole year. It's ramped up again here in the holidays and it's doing okay right now, but there was a lot missing for the year. So I couldn't give it to Halo. I like Warzone. I am not into it as much as Dan and Alan. I didn't buy the actual game to be able to play multiplayer. I just have the Warzone stuff and I got the Battle Pass free from my Xfinity subscription, so it's not like I paid for that either. And I have a lot of fun with it. I enjoy playing with everyone, but man, there is nothing like getting into 2042 this year because we stayed away from it, for the record. Like after being hardcore Battlefield
rightfully
friends
so, it was trash at launch
for a long time.
Bad.
We stayed away from it because it got such bad reviews, and we picked it up almost a year later. And man, it was just good old fashioned fun. I loved being the medic because I just don't have the twitch reflexes, but I could still contribute. I loved the big maps. I loved the crazy stuff that happens, man. So that was my best multiplayer of the year. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more back into it here in the coming future, but Battlefield 2042 for sure.
Bubble Boy, should we skip you on the
okay? Yeah, because my cheat sheet here says NA, not anywhere cool enough to decide on this one because I suck.
Okay. Remember, people, he did say that
he played Battlefield
to play a little bit of Nerdfest. Bacon, what was your best multiplayer game / Nerdfest game for 2022?
I will agree that Battlefield has turned around and is fantastic. And I will also agree with Halo being a little sparse, but great. But of course, all roads lead back to Warzone for me and my simp. But it is Warzone. It's my most fun. It's my most time.
He's got 270 hours, folks.
It's just ridiculous. So it's embarrassing to admit that.
Season 2 is like a month away, right? Or something like that.
They actually delayed it recently.
2 weeks.
Yeah, by 2 weeks. So hopefully
they
we'll
still
see
haven't.
improvements.
We still don't have Warzone stats, so I know how many wins I have. That's pretty sad, but yes, it is unfortunately gonna be Warzone 2.
Very nice. Moving on to our next award, we have we call this one the Herm Edwards Awards. And for those of you who don't know, Herm Edwards was a famous football coach, particularly made famous by the meme or the interview when he was coaching.
You play to win the game.
You play to win the game, and you play the games to have fun, right? So that's why we named it. This is the most fun game award of 2022. And again, guys, I will go first. I thought about this. I love playing Halo. I love playing Warzone, Souls games, even a little bit. Those are fun. But when I really thought about it, the game I just have fun every time I play it is Forza Horizon 5. Every time I jump in, I have a blast. It is just pure fun, especially the Hot Wheels DLC that came out this year. So that is my award winner for the most fun game of 2022. Consistently, you just have fun, and the music, the graphics, the settings, the gameplay. Forza Horizon 5 is my winner. Bacon, let's throw it over to you. What was your most fun game of 2022?
I'm personally hurt and sad that you didn't mention this, Dan. The amount of fun we had in the Halo 2 campaign co-op. Tell me that wasn't the most fun we had all year.
You're right. And I had that on.
That is my winner.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like Forza needs to be represented as well. But you're absolutely right. I did have a blast playing the campaign, especially when we were grappling off of each other. Yes, and it was, dude. There's so much you could do. There was a large tether area too. We got pretty far away from each other. Okay, you're right. I should have gave more credit to the co-op. You're absolutely right. That should be. I did have that written down. Jose, what about you? Your most fun game?
So I went a little bit out of left field here, and I had a lot of fun. And I think Forza is a great pick for the record. I love Forza, but I wanted to give it a shout out to this because it was very nostalgic for all four of us. And when it came out, even though it was only like a 3-4 day banger for us, it was so much fun. And even though the online was broken, but when it did work, was amazing. And that is Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, right? That harkens back to that 90s nostalgia. And every one of us was like a little kid again, picking our favorite turtles and enjoying it was like playing Turtles in Time for a modern system, even though nothing will ever touch Turtles in Time. But I have to say that was one of the funnest times I had this year was when that came out, and everybody, like grown ass men, almost 40, all of us, 40
was Billy
plus,
with
right?
us, Jose?
What?
Was Billy with us when we did that? Or
he tried a couple of times. He got in one time without audio.
Oh yeah, that's
but
right.
Like we got everyone out was playing Turtles, man. So I got to give a shout out to the developers. It was definitely a good pick for me.
Yeah, I wasn't as high on it first, but then afterwards, after playing, I'm like, that it was pretty dang good. It was very close. And I forgot to mention this earlier, you guys. I have 1,000 on the TMNT Cowabunga collection. I did it, and I was playing.
Dang,
I know. I'd put in work on some of those because some of them you can't choose, like the fighting one. But anyway, playing, dude. At first I was like, this collection's not that great, but then playing Turtles in Time, you guys, that game is just so good. And the Shredder's Revenge does a really good job getting as close to that as possible. So credit. I love the pick, Jose. Bubble Boy, what about you? What was your 2022 Herm Edwards Most Fun Award?
Yeah, I think it might be a stretch. I wanted to do something kind of like Jose, a little bit different. And you guys will laugh. I didn't play it a ton, but when I did play it, Fall Guys was so much fun to me. And I loved just as I'm playing the game, I was always having fun. I hated how long it took to load. I felt like I wasn't playing the game as much as I was waiting for the game, which is what, kind of made me I'm not sure if I want to pick this, but when I was actually playing the game, I had a blast playing Fallout, and Cora would play it with me too, which is fun. So I gave it to Fall Guys.
I love all of our picks. I love that they're different so far. These are all phenomenal games. So let's keep it going. Let's go to Best Indie Game of 2022. Let's start off with Bubble Boy this time. Bubble Boy, what was your favorite indie game of 2022?
I'm spamming raising the hand button here because everybody knows what it is. It competed with Elden Ring for Game of the Year and just barely lost. That's right, friends. Power Wash Simulator was 1,000%
excellent choice,
indie Game of the Year. Sold, mic drop.
Jose, what about you? Because you've played a lot. You played a lot of indies. So
I did play a lot of indies. Did you see, Chance, that they're doing a Power Wash add-on with Tomb Raider?
Yep. And you're doing the mansion. The T-Rex is there.
Oh,
you better believe.
How is that not your game of the year now, Bubble Boy? Jeez, come on.
So here's the thing.
It was hard.
For Best Indie, the one game I didn't play at all, even though I bought it and it's in my catalog, I just haven't started it because I really want to enjoy, is Cult of the Lamb. And I think that may have actually taken this category if I had played it, but I haven't, so I can't say that. My indie of the year was one that I was down on. And I ultimately had an incredibly fun amount of time with it. And it was a huge blow up for Xbox. You know what I'm talking about? That is High on Life. Because
is that really an indie game though?
Yeah, Squanch Games is not a big publisher, but they're a well-known name, but they are an indie for sure.
I'll allow it.
So that was my indie for Xbox, dude. I got to give a shout out that Xbox did so well with that they supported them, that the producers loved it, the devs loved it, and I did have a good time. You know, I kept wanting to go back and play it. Right, if I hated it, I would have just stopped after like the first level. So I got to give it to High on Life as my indie of the year.
Bacon, what about you? What was your favorite indie game of 2022? You don't have many, do you? Oh, wait, no, I know what yours is.
So while I agree with both the other submissions for this category, they are both very good from you two. The winner of this category is easily Vampire freaking Survivor.
Yep.
I bought the DLC for that for like $2, and Papa Phil's got like 8 days in that game. It is absolutely mind-numbingly, stupidly fun and addicting. That is single-handedly the winner.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I got another different pick for you guys. For me personally, my 2022 game of the year, I haven't played Vampire Survivor, still need to get to that eventually, was Tunic from Finji Games.
Also
that
great
was,
choice, bud.
I loved Tunic. To describe Tunic, it's more of a 90s isometric Zelda game. There is a little bit of souls in there because if you get killed, you lose your souls.
You lose
The
your stuff,
combat, a lot of rolling, leveling up at flames and stuff like that. Love the art direction. Loved the instruction manual, like piecing together stuff. What a fantastic game. I highly recommend Tunic by Finji Games, my 2022 indie game of the year. Let's move on to best art direction of 2022. Jose, I'm going to start with you. What was your best art direction of 2022?
You guys are going to disagree with me, and I actually think I'm the only one that's played with this. So my best art direction was Callisto Protocol, because it was a beautiful game. It was very well thought out. The graphics were insane. Like the face capture stuff was super dope. I love the layout of it. It was everything I wanted. I know that it's gotten a lot of flack. I know there's news stories recently that they didn't sell as much as I kind of anticipated. I loved it. I hope there is still hope for a sequel. I was talking to Insipid Ghost on Twitter about this. He runs the EXP podcast, man, and he loved it as well. So I love the art direction of Callisto Protocol. Now, again, it's in the horror genre. It's in the space horror genre, which that's where I'm super happy. That's why I'm pumped for next week. But I really enjoyed Callisto Protocol. 100% shout out to the studio for sure.
Bacon, what about you? What was your 2022 best art direction game?
I've got to go with Elden Ring here. That to tell a story without telling a story, just based on environment and the different biomes or whatever we want to call them. Absolute masterpiece, and probably will never be replicated ever.
I completely agree. That is also my 2022 best art direction. Elden Ring, you guys, like Bacon said it perfectly about telling a story without really telling a story. The environments, the creepiness you felt going into Caelid, the underground areas that I don't want to spoil, the mountaintops, like everything just absolutely incredibly well done in every way, artistically and graphically. That game blows me away. I want to play it again. You know what? I'm going to to it on PC.
Yeah, that first time you get to Caelid and by accident,
oh my gosh, yeah,
was exactly. Like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, Bubble Boy, what about you? What was your best art direction?
Well, and so it was Elden Ring, but I have to say I originally wrote down Cuphead, the DLC with Cuphead. I think it's gosh, like if we could have a 1A and a 1B for that, and just to kind of mix it up a little bit, I'll give mine to Cuphead. Because the art on that game, and it's just so smooth, incredible, and it's amazing, and it's hand drawn,
real hand drawn. Yeah, that really is like people.
That's hard not to choose that one.
I like it. Very, very nice to recognize Studio MDHR. Let's move on to best story of 2022. And I gotta say, you guys, I'm gonna draw a lot of flack for this one because I still don't know what the story is. My winner for the best story is Elden Ring for 2022. I gotta say, you know why, you guys? Because I made my own story about how I'm surviving.
Because you're an idiot.
Surviving as my samurai, just trying to survive all these crazy beasts in my own way. I created my own story of a fallen Tom Cruise as the last samurai surviving out in the lands between Elden Ring. But here's the thing. Let me finish. If you guys disagree with that because I could see it, because really I don't know the story of Elden Ring and I think it's pure caca. But at the same time, if I can nominate one that didn't come out in 2022, it would be Cyberpunk 2077. I really enjoyed that story. I really enjoyed Johnny Silverhand and all of that. So a real story that I played in 2022 would be Cyberpunk. A story that I don't understand but made my own, Elden Ring, hands down. Go
You
ahead.
would have had a
Bubble
better
Boy.
story than Elden Ring?
These nuts.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say these nuts. I was going to say it, but I was like, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
If you're going to do that, we also have to have a best mocap and acting job, and then send one of these official awards to Tom Cruise then. So.
Oh, absolutely. But Bubble Boy, what was your best story of 2022?
Yeah,
I went with. I know that.
No, God, no. I went with Immortality, and I know Jose always is really.
I gotta play this. I hear it's really good.
Jose reminds me, like, just because it's new and fresh and different and like unique doesn't make it good. I did think this one was good because I actually haven't loved. I was like, with this one, I had tried. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank on the guy's name? Bacon, do you remember his name? That makes all these games. I feel awful.
Oh, I'll look it up while you're
I was like, you know what, this is gonna be the last one because they're not doing it for me anymore. The last couple, like Telling Lies and Her
Sam
Story.
Barlow.
Yes.
Sam Barlow.
Those felt very similar. This was totally different. You really are. Like when you get towards the end, you are searching for story in a good way, not like where is it, but like that's what compels you to keep moving, to find out what happened in this game. And it was so well done. It was unique. It wasn't too unique that it was crazy and weird. This was a no-brainer for me. Immortality.
Great nomination and winner. I love it, Bubble Boy. Jose, what about you? What was the best story for you in 2022?
So I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel like a lot of the games I played had really compelling stories this year. Great games, love the games,
right
have no complaints. But I just was like, in terms of a good story, and I kind of came down to two of them, and I felt like one I just couldn't do, even though I really wanted to, because I think what it's based off has a great story. So the one I went with was actually Callisto Protocol. It's not an insane story. It's very much like a situational thing, but I think it was decently well written. I think there was a decent enough twist at the end that I enjoyed. And again, I like the story enough that I hope that there's a sequel that's based on the story. So that is what I ended up giving it to. Again, I need to be very clear. It's not a groundbreaking story. It's not one that you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. I will never see something like this again. But I enjoyed it. I think it fit what was happening. Again, I think it was also really well acted by Josh Duhamel and the other supporting characters. So that is my pick for the best story of 2022, Callisto Protocol.
Jose, what was your other one that you didn't want to go with that you think
it'll come up in my other awards? Okay. So I'll tell you. I'll talk about it then.
Make sure and clarify that later for sure. And Bacon, what was the best story for 2022 for you?
And again, it's got to be Elden Ring. It's just proof that you do not have to have cutscenes. You do not have to carry people's hands through a game, start to finish, with quick time actions and all this. You
sliding through walls,
right? You made the story what you wanted it to be, and it. And again, I do not even understand the story. But I put 157 hours into it.
Exactly. Something kept you going. So absolutely.
Zero cutscenes. Just let's go.
Let's move on.
I think there were zero.
Yeah, there were some, but nobody knew what was going on. Let's go on. Final two serious awards here from you guys. We have next, and this is a big one, the Good Old Days Award, aka the best game we played in 2022, but it didn't have to come out this year. So this is any game that we played during the year, not necessarily released in 2022. I will go first here, gentlemen. I nominated, and my winner is Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red. I, put this game off for a long time. This was a 2020 game, if I'm not mistaken, right, Chance?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was a hater. I was the whole launch just completely pushed me away, and I was like, I'm not playing that piece of trash. but once I got sucked into it, boys, I was in deep, and I couldn't stop playing this game, couldn't stop thinking about it. The combat blew me away, the story. I hated what's his face at first, Keanu Reeves. I particularly didn't like him, but towards the end, you're like, oh, okay, maybe. But some of the side stuff is really powerful in there. My Bay, Pan Am,
all day.
Loved Cyberpunk, the world, just a fantastic game, and I'm so excited they're going to make a sequel. My winner for the Good Old Days Award was Cyberpunk 2077. Also, an honorable mention, I have to say, Resident Evil Village blew me away as well. The Messenger from Sabotage Studio and Dark Souls 3 from Software, just a fantastic game. That felt like I was playing more Elden Ring, whereas Dark Souls 1, I felt like I was playing the beginning of, it was a little rough. So, Bacon, what about you? What was the best game you played in 2022 that didn't come out this year necessarily?
To our loyal fans and listeners, this is the last time I'll have to talk about it. It is Mass Effect, Mass Effect, Mass Effect. It all roads lead back to Mass Effect. Played through it twice this year, and it was amazing. I also want to give a small shout out to Returnal. That's PlayStation, and I apologize, gentlemen, but Returnal is very good. Yeah, it's time to put a cork in Mass Effect and move on with my life after this evening.
Very nice. Jose, what about you? What was the best game you played in 2022 that didn't necessarily release this year?
So two quick honorable mentions. I played Inside for the first time, really enjoyed Inside. It was at the behest of my co-hosts. They said I'd love it. They were absolutely right. Super bizarre, but I dug it. I love the puzzle nature. So check that out if you like a short game. I also, for the first time, my second runner-up, or I should say first runner-up, is I played Grand Theft Auto 5 for the first time, and I loved it. I really, really, really loved it. And I would have easily taken my win, but then something came along as a dark horse, thanks to good old Daddy D. Wally, and that is South Park: The Stick of Truth. Legitimately one of the funnest games I have ever played in my life, to the point where I was laughing out loud by myself. It made me want to go back and watch all of the South Park seasons.
Instantly purchased the Fractured Butthole.
Oh my God. I instantly bought Fractured Butthole. I haven't started Fractured because of what's coming out next week, because I don't want to rush through it. I genuinely enjoyed playing through everything, the story, and again, genuinely from my gut laughing watching it. Now, granted, if you get offended easily, you probably aren't listening to the show, to be fair, but also it is not for the faint of heart. Definitely not something for in front of kids, but I absolutely loved The Stick of Truth. I mean, literally amazing gaming. Super happy. I super hope they release a third game at some point for sure.
Very good, Jose. And Bubble Boy, I know you had to make a change here. What was your favorite game?
Bacon got to do it. Why don't I get to do it?
No, he didn't. He put an asterisk.
He
said honorable mention.
Do it.
Okay. My favorite non-2022 release of 2022 was Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah,
How
fair.
boring.
All right, very good. Moving on. Hot
Come on.
Wheels.
It's not like it's a Sony.
Save it. I got a PlayStation 1 too. Let's save it. Now, closing the awards. We have made it to our 2022 Game of the Year. All of these games came out in 2022, and they are all playable on Xbox. Who would like to go first, or do you guys want me to lead off with my 5 nominations? Chipotle Bear, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't do 5 nominations, but I'm like, it's an easy one for me. And yeah, I didn't name it for any of my other awards because I felt like it easily deserved this one, and that is Elden Ring. I mean, even as a non-Souls person, had literally never really ever played any of the other Souls games. I tried to play Dark Souls 3 ahead of it, and I got like 2 levels in and stopped. I loved Elden Ring. And I mean, it was to the point where it consumed our lives. We thought about it when we were at work. We thought about it when we were making dinner. We couldn't wait to talk to each other and say, try this thing, find this thing, go check this dungeon out. And because it was so big and you could take it in so many directions, I didn't feel like there was even a clear guide at first, to the point where people were literally just exploring. And, you know, if you guys said it several times, if you had a build you didn't like, people would just be like, nope, restarting, right? Like, and it didn't feel like a chore, because despite whatever build you had, there was so much to do. a huge shout out to From Software. I'm sure an Elden Ring 2 at some point is going to be coming down the road, and we're all going to be there day one doing the same thing. I loved my mage build. I love when Dan helped me cross the finish line. We love chatting with Claire to Square about her endeavors there, right, man? So there's literally easily no other game that I could nominate than Elden Ring for sure. Congrats to them.
Does anyone else have any nominations, or would you just like to say your game of the year?
Yeah, mine was exactly the same as Jose. It's Elden Ring. And the only thing I'll add is that that's a generational game. It's one that will be made and remade, and kind of like Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto, it'll be 2 console generations from now, people will still be playing that game. The piece that made it so amazing, aside from all the gameplay and stuff, was the social aspect of it. Even though it's not really a multiplayer game. I mean, it kind of was. Yeah, and I'm even talking like
and even
the social,
seeing like the deaths and
when you're
seeing people roaming around.
But I'm saying even in actual life, the social side. So I know I had told the story way back then, but the ladies at Gateway all had this like Wednesday or Thursday morning yoga club that they did, and me and Eric and Glunzy had Elden Ring support group. Like, that's how big that game was. That's how amazing it was. Like, we were literally connecting on a human personal level because of that game, and I just don't know anything else that's even come close to doing that and since I can remember.
Bacon, what about you? What was your 2022 game of the year for Xbox?
A quick shout outs and nominations would be the Cowabunga Collection and Shredder's Revenge, of course. High on Life is also very high this year. I really did enjoy that. And of course, Modern Warfare campaign was very good as well. And of course, it goes without any controversy. It's going to be Elden Ring. I really wanted God of War to be there, but it's going to be Elden Ring as my game of the year.
And I'll close off here, gentlemen. My top 5 games this year. Number 5, Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, Studio MDHR. Number 4, High on Life, Squanch Games. Number 3, Super Perils of Baking from Lily Mo Games. Bacon knows about that.
That's a good
one.
Number for you,
Number 2, Tunic, Finji Games. But of course, number 1, a unanimous all-around game of the year from the Nerd Chat for 2022 is in fact Elden Ring from Software. And I'll just close with this. I had never played a Souls game before in my life, guys. And then I played Elden Ring. I got 1,000 out of 1,000 on it. Got a platinum for PS5, platinum for PS4. And then I played Dark Souls 3, and I just completed Dark Souls 1, and I'm about to play Dark Souls 2. I'm obsessed. This game just absolutely blew me away in every way. The only other game I could think of that was even close to this was Skyrim. And it is truly a game of a generation. It is so special for so many reasons. And I think what I like most about it is it just lets you play. Like, I've come to really appreciate games that just let me play and not force me to watch endless cutscenes or slows down for loading, or I absolutely love the gameplay of these Souls games. And I have to shout out Jay Biz. I was completely wrong about these, Bogus, and I get it now. These games are incredible. Shout out to our 2022 game of the year, Elden Ring from Software. Guys, let's jump into our we have 5 random awards we'd like to give out to games this year. I know Bubble Boy has like 37 apparently.
I did 3. I
have 5. I'm surprised you didn't do 5. So why don't we'll go first so you can have your last 3 to match up with this. Jose, do you have 5? Bacon, do you have 5 awards? Okay, so I'll start us out here. So here's my first award. We'll go me, Bacon, Jose, and then we'll get Chance in there once we get down to 3. So my first award is the Kaka Award, aka the worst game I played, but also somehow still got 1,000 out of 1,000 on it, goes to Crossfire X. Man, don't freaking play this game. So bad. So bad. Bacon, what is your first random award you'd like to give out?
My first random award would be the biggest disappointment, and I'm not all the way through it, and I'm halfway in. I think it all comes back to my anger with Sony at this point, was the disappointment that was God of War. I expected a lot more. I expected a lot of change. I expected a progression or an evolution, and we did not get it. It's more of the same. Great game, but I expected much more.
Jose, your award, please.
So mine is called the Dylan and Dutch Award after the Academy Award-winning movie Predator, two of the main characters. And it's for Modern Warfare 2. Because it's one of those games where, again, if it was up to me and like if I wasn't part of the nerd chat, if I didn't have friends, I would probably never pick up Warzone. But every time I'm on it, Alan's like, "You've been invited by Pack Attack to play it." I'm always like, "You son of a b!"
Yeah, you always say
which
yes.
is exactly like what happens in Predator in that famous scene with the tough arm. So that is my award number 1.
All right, my next award is called the best game I played on PS5 this year. That goes to Elden Ring. I played it twice on PS5. I played the PS5 version and the PS4 version. And also on there is the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I played it this year as well. Did my full official horrible Renegade run. So shout out to the PS5 for letting me play Elden Ring multiple times, Mass Effect. I also played Ghost of Tsushima and like Horizon, I think. But no, those were the best games I played. Bacon, what is your next award?
My next award is titled Pixels Make Perfect. And it's just a throwback to the pixel art that was Vampire Survivor. I'm pretty sure that was made on a toaster, coded on a cell phone. It shows that games don't have to have perfect graphics. They don't have to have a story of any kind. And it should just be stupid, mindless fun.
Jose, what's your next award?
I'm going to go ahead and I was going to say something different, but I'll add my next award is the My Strange Addiction Award, also to Vampire Survivors, because it was exactly that. Like I heard about it and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I played a couple games and I lost pretty early. And then I hit the first time I hit like enough to get to like level 10, 12, and I was hooked, man. And literally for like 3 days straight, I was playing in bed. I was playing at work. I was playing at home. I had to literally be like, I got to stop but a shout out to the nun. She's my dog. And I love the Bible and I love the garlic. Shout that out. All right.
Ooh, the garlic. Yeah. I can't do a run.
Yeah,
without
I've even heard about this garlic. Okay. My next award is the best $2 game award. And this goes to Ghoul Boy from Dolores Entertainment. Ghoul Boy, I remember telling you guys, was a simple little platformer in the spirit of Castlevania. And I loved it. And it was $2. Had a blast playing it. So shout out to Ghoul Boy from Dolores Entertainment. Bacon, what's your next award?
My next award is the game I have to stop playing, and that is Warzone. I just got to stop playing it. I'm sorry, too much time. It's a time suck.
And Jose, your next award.
Mine is an homage to Chance. It's called the Dad Mode Award, and it is to Power Wash Simulator, because similarly, it's one of those where like when I got 5 minutes, I'm like, you know what needs to be cleaned? That sidewalk right there. I got my girls playing it. Victoria see me play it, and it is just weirdly addicting and relaxing.
Yep.
So huge shout out to Power Wash Simulator.
Yep.
Bubble Boy, jump in here. Tell us your first of random awards, please.
All right. The Daddy Daughter Date Award, which is the game that was the most fun for me and Cora to play together. She insisted I put this one in here. And that goes to very easily Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga.
Very nice. And my next award is titled the Worst Sequels Ever Made Award. And I played Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Gosh, you guys, it is insane that we got Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, because those games were horrible. They're worse. 5 is worse than you remember, and 6 is one of the worst games I've ever played. Bacon, what's your next award, please?
This is the last random award I have, and it is the fastest uninstall I've ever done, and that goes to Peppa the Pig after I got the 1,040 minutes.
Oh, man, I thought yours was going to be Persona 5. Jose, what about you? What was your next award?
So mine is called the Best Fun Size Banger, and it goes to Tinykin. Like I said, I really enjoyed that game, and I will tell anybody that's definitely worth their time. If you're looking for an awesome indie, like probably 8-hour playthrough to get almost 1,000 out of 1,000, definitely check out Tinykin. Super awesome game.
And Bubble Boy, your next award.
Oh, God, this one hurts my soul. The Rock, Paper, Scissors Award, which goes for the game that made me think, why do I have to squeeze through so many rocks? Can there be a loot drop that makes me as thin as a piece of paper to bypass all this squeezing? And please, developers, the next time you want to add this to a game, get some scissors and cut it out. Somebody answer that for me. What game am I talking about?
God of War Ragnarok, of
that's
course.
the one. That is the one.
I'd rather see a loading screen for a split second. Like, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah, a beautiful vista, anything, a big middle finger.
You're on fire, brother. You're on fire, brother.
Next. Oh gosh, and I love that guy too. Next award, my final one is my new favorite games award, and this, of course, goes to Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, Elden Ring, and all of the Soulsborne games that I've recently played. I love them all. That is best. My new favorite games award. Bacon, you said you were done, so Jose and Chance finishes off here, boys.
So my last award is called the PhD Player Haters Degree Award, and it has got to go to none other than Gotham Knights. I know a lot of people hated Gotham Knights. I know Chance doesn't like Gotham Knights. And again, I made a comment earlier about how I wanted to nominate it for best story. This was the other game I was talking about because the source material for the Court of Owls in the Batman universe is an amazing story. Like it is one of my favorite graphic novels I've ever read, and so I was so pumped for it. And I don't want to say that it was a terrible story because I don't think it was. It wasn't what I wanted, and even though I think it redeemed itself a little bit at the end, it just I don't think it came together in the way that everybody hoped. And I think what honestly happened is they spent too long hyping it up, and it became this thing that like it could have never reached that. No game could have, and so it's very unfortunate to me because I really enjoyed my playthrough. I really took my time with it. I enjoyed the views. I also played as Batgirl, which I've heard from other people is the best character to play at if you like the traditional Batman style because of the way she traverses the city and stuff. I love the representation there. So even though everyone hates on it, I really enjoyed my playthrough of Gotham Knights. Now, again, I understand if you want to wait till it's like $15 or if you never want to play it, cool. I get it, man. But I really enjoyed it. So that's my last one, the Player Haters Degree Award.
Bubble Boy, give us your final random award for 2022.
Very strangely, I'm going to piggyback off that to the Mega Constructs Award for the game that really wanted to be great and wasn't bad, but just will never be as good as the real thing. You can see behind me my Master Chief Mega Constructs. Looks great, right? It's not bad. And I got the Lego over here, and it's just not the same. Gotham Knights, you are not Arkham Games. It wasn't done by Rocksteady. I just, oh my God. There's so many things that I had to struggle through with that game. The controls were so bad. All the different traversal things were so bad. The bike, the bat cycle thing, that was the slowest. I tried to come up with like 12 different awards for the worst vehicle in gaming this year, and I couldn't ever nail one down because I just was like, no, that's not, the bat cycle's not good enough to justify that. I don't know. Um, I did get 1,000 out of 1,000, so I like, you can hate on that because it was after you get past how janky and clunky and it froze on me 17 times. I did like trying to go for the 1,000. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't the worst game ever, but
love hate.
Exactly, like it's the Mega Constructs, right?
Who was your playthrough? I'm just curious.
I like the analogy.
So I did Red Hood. I started as Red Hood, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the worst character ever." And I was like, maybe it's because he's so overpowered, like that they had to make him clunky and janky. And so then I went to Robin, and I was like, okay, I like Robin. Actually, was a little more fluid. But then I did Robin's like magic traversal thing, which was the laziest thing I've seen in gaming in a long time. So Batgirl has like the same as Batman,
the
like
glider,
the cape thing. Nightwing has like a glider that he does. Red Hood has this mystic jump that's kind of weird. Robin literally disappears. The whole screen kind of goes into this fuzzy computer looking thing. And then you just like hold over for 3 seconds and then he respawns there. And then you can't do it again for like a second. It's awful. It was the worst. Like I was just like, I can't play as Robin. And I was having fun in the combat as Robin. I couldn't do the traversal. And I had just played, like I said, I had played Marvel. If you listen, I played Miles Morales not long ago. And when you put those next to each other, they don't even compare. So I glad I played it, but Mega Constructs Award.
Well, I just want to point out we had 5 minutes there just on Gotham Knights. Very controversial. One guy loves it, one guy hates it. And there you have it, the 2022 the Nerd Chat first official Game of the Year awards. I loved our winners and nominations, guys. I think we had a great diverse selection of games. So please tell us, write us in, comment on our YouTube, and let us know what your favorite games of 2022 were. And we are so excited for 2023 because it's a little overwhelming, boys. So, guys, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Bacon, why don't we start with you? What was the best food you had?
Oh, my wife was home all day yesterday enjoying a snow day, so she made a pretty good pot roast in the slow cooker, and it was ready when I got home, and it was pretty tasty. And yeah, that's roughly it.
All right, very nice. I'll tie in right there with you, Bacon. Allie just the other day in the crock pot put some chicken, some gravy, and stuffing, and there was another side, and it felt like Thanksgiving, and it was delicious, you guys. So she's like, I'm just gonna do this next year. Screw making a turkey. So a shout out. I'm guys, I'm a huge fan of that dang box Stouffer's. I love that damn stuffing. So
Me too.
it is so good.
Delightful.
I love it. Chipotle Bear, what was the best food you had this week?
So shout out to saw my parents on Monday. It was their anniversary. We did some Domino's pizza, which, man, I'm coming around on. I do really enjoy me some Domino's. In addition, kind of like Bacon said, because of the snow yesterday, we went to my in-laws and my mother-in-law made some beans and red chili, like homemade, which was fantastic. But this week, my award goes to my incredible wife because we were out running errands on Sunday, one of the days. And she was like, we were like, where do you want to go to lunch? And we have kind of our staples because of the kids and stuff. And I don't know where Victoria was like, let's go to Good Times. And I literally like perked up in my chair, like, yes, absolutely. Like, and she would laugh at me because I got so excited, got some delightful wild fries. I found out one of my students works there. So I want to find out what's actually in the wild sauce so I can just make it at home. But it was absolutely delightful, man. Definitely not great for me because it's Good Times. It's not healthy, but it was really, really tasty. So shout out to Good Times.
Bubble Boy, what was the best food you had?
Oh, I have a glorious update for everybody because I've been holding fast with the diet. However, I actually got 2 cheats this week, but I had, and I don't know if it's because of the diet or not, the best Chipotle burrito I've had in a decade, I have to say. And it's from the one on Parker Main Street. I pulled the classic Daddy D Wally, just a tiny bit of brown rice and then barbacoa. Oh, you know what? Actually, make that double barbacoa. And this thing, I think, what did I say in the nerd chat? Like could have been confused for a compact car. Like it was like this big, this burrito that I had. And again, maybe it was because I haven't had delicious carbs or dairy or meat in such a long time. But I literally, I'm going to get back on. I meant to do this earlier. I'm going to write them a review. I've never written a restaurant a review or anything like that. I just need to shout out to that Chipotle on Parker Main Street.
Did it destroy your stomach? I'm just curious after not
doesn't
eating
matter.
it for a while.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? Who knows? Not who cares. Sorry. I wouldn't remember if it did. My brain has blacked all of that out because of how delicious the burrito was to begin with. But yes, it did.
Very nice. Gentlemen, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 90. My name is Daddy Duwally. You can follow me at Daddy Duwally across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat across all social media. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
Yeah, if you want to chat, we've been chatting a lot on Twitter, Chipotle_Bear. Feel free to hit me up, ask questions, or, of course, critique. Give us offerings, how to make this better. We love making content for all our fans. Would love to hear from some staples. Haven't heard from Claire in a while. I know she's been busy, that kind of stuff. And J-Biz, I know he's also busy teaching. You can also find me on Instagram at ChipotleBear. And very soon you can find me on Twitch. The channel's already up there, Twitch/ChipotleBear, but not a lot of content yet. I promise it's coming soon.
And Bubble Boy, where can people find you?
In mind, not body and spirit, Arrowhead Stadium, cheering on your future Super Bowl champion Chiefs.
Bacon, where can people find you?
You can find me at X-Bacon Gaming on all your major socials. If you guys like what we're doing here, we'd appreciate a like, a subscribe, a comment, a rating on any of the podcast services. Let us know what we're doing right, wrong, and we appreciate your time.
As always, gentlemen, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online, guys.
Why you been acting so messed up towards me?
Why you been acting so messed up towards me?
Well, you go first.
I don't know, maybe I felt like a little threatened or something, because your career is kind of just blossoming and mine's kind of winding down or whatever.
And I felt like this guy's really hurting me. And it hurt.
And I felt like when you told me to derelict my balls, that really hurt.
Maybe I was scared, man.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy Diwali across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.